You've been added to the stream, so hopefully, guys, you can start to hear us. These things happen every now and again. Pretty good. We manage to go live every week like we do.
Right. Hello from Michigan. Love you guys. So Deborah.
I think we're getting sound again now. So apologies there, guys, if you weren't getting the sound, because we've got all new equipment. I was trying to tell people. Yep, you can hear it good. Okay, that's fine.
That's good.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Working on it now. We are here. Yes, you can hear us. Hooray! We got some really good new equipment, and thank you again to all the patrons that are helping us with this. But it obviously has had its teething problems there.
So Marilyn Planet, hello from Calcutta. Where is it?
Connecticut.
Calcutta.
A little bit different to Calcutta, Jane.
Isabel says, sound okay. JP, hello from Ukraine.
From the Ukraine?
Yeah, hope you're okay and stay
safe. Yeah, God. Oh,
we are with you.
Yeah, everybody's thoughts are out there with the people of Ukraine. And exotic Eastbourne, of course.
From exotic Eastbourne, not any Eastbourne.
I quite like Eastbourne. We put our videos together, and our Mystic Journey to India was made in Eastbourne.
It used to be a very posh place in Victorian times. Proud and patron Joanne Jackson.
Thank you, Joanne, and thank you to all those patrons, because we got all new kit here today. New wireless system we're using, which is fantastic. But obviously we managed just to get it all put together just in time for tonight's show, and not had time to test it. And we've even got a lovely little camera there pointing out the window now, which was switched to every now and again. Just shows you what's going outside at our neighbours across the road there, in this beautiful scene of Winchester.
Groovy 14, yay! Hello from Atlanta.
Groovy, baby.
Jan, hello, lovely people.
Heart, have no. Right, have no then, Jane. Well, we're going to be talking tonight.
Pauline says that's better. And Craig and Jane from Ireland. Good.
Good evening from Norway.
Oh, sorrow.
Okay, can we elaborate on the Golden Age? I've also mentioned it as well. Thanks, blessings to you all.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be probably quite nice to think about the nature of what will come out of everything eventually. Yes. I think that would probably be quite a nice thought for tonight, actually. We'll obviously talk a bit about Ukraine and what's going on, but let's see how far we can see forward. What's happening with Putin? Poo in a tin? And looking good, as always, Craig and Jane. Thank you, guys. It's nice of you to compliment us as you do.
Hello from Sweden. Sweden, yeah.
We'll say our hellos always. If you first joined us for the first time, we always say hellos. Let everybody get online. Let everybody sort of settle in, and maybe even type a few questions ready for later on.
Have shared your link in lovely Mauritius. I've got many friends in Mauritius.
How will the Ukraine crisis be resolved? Is Putin just protecting Russia? Right, we can start off, I suppose, then, if we start getting some questions. Now, write your questions, not just about current events, because we like to kind of open it up gradually and take it towards new areas. But obviously, the Ukraine business is still obviously going to be top of the agenda for everybody's thoughts at the moment. So forgive us if we keep working a lot with that and talking about Ukraine, talking about some of the thoughts. I'll tell you one thing I had a thought of, Jane, for us to see what you think about this. I was looking at a lot of astrologers' comments about what's happening at this present point in time. And according to Putin's chart, he's right at the moment. He's got two very powerful planets. Saturn and Mars are both very, very dominant in his chart, and have been for quite a long time, particularly in the area of the Capricorn of the Indian charts. And it means that he's had a very, very, very powerful position for a long time. But interestingly, there's a big change happening in his chart in November, when all those big planets, like Saturn is a planet of, it's a pretty heavy planet to handle in most people's charts. But if you get Saturn in a good position in your chart, it can make you a very powerful person. And it all changes in November.
Well, do you
and
really believe
it could
he will,
reverse.
Do you really believe he will be here by November?
Well, that's
Craig?
what I'm wondering, because it looks like they were saying that November time is possibly a big turning point. And I was right in my earlier predictions saying I thought November, because I was talking about the primaries and all around the time of the American elections that I felt things would got particularly bad. But maybe I was getting it round the wrong way. Maybe things are going to get a bit better in that time because of the planetary shifts at that time.
I know Putin doesn't believe in horoscopes. His
Doesn't
first
he?
wife used to, yes.
Doesn't he?
Yes, I've read that.
Oh, that's
No.
probably because he doesn't want to know the truth. And also with all that too. I mean, he's a man that is. I've said it could be that at that time, maybe it's November, because I've talked and you've talked about we feel something's going to happen to Putin. Someone's going to take him out, either militarily or I suggested even thinking it could be this rising attack on him or something like that. And maybe that could be November time, which means that if that was the right sort of timing for things, it means that Ukrainian war would continue to at least November. Terrible damage which would be done in that amount of
I
time.
personally don't think it will.
I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying that's what the astrologers say.
I don't think it will continue to November, Craig. I don't. Because I think there's going to be terrible food shortages and there's going to be terrible things to come where money's concerned and people fighting. And I don't know, I had an image in my mind like Marie Antoinette, feed them cake, as if the Russian people will turn on him.
Yeah. I mean, one of the big nasty consequences that's going to come from all this is, I mean, this is not me talking psychically now, but just looking at things. Ukraine is a huge country that is mainly producing grain. And that grain has been sold a lot, I believe, to Africa. So sooner or later, that grain's going to dry up, because who's there to look after the fields when all this is going on? And if we get a failure of the grain harvest in Ukraine, could we not also start to see an increase in the cost of the yields generally around the world? And the very people that rely on the Ukrainian grain are the African people. So could this not also be like a period of starvation ahead for many people? These things have effects.
Isn't it rich in minerals as well, Ukraine?
It is, particularly I think it's neon or something, which is used a lot in a lot of minerals and things that are used for components, for electrical components, which there's already a massive shortage of these things. What will happen with the stock market? Well, my thoughts are we're going to get some really serious events ahead, I think, with all of it. Because although we're kind of fairly resilient, the stock market's been so far pretty resilient. I mean, you can't stop trading with, although Russia's not the biggest trading partner for most people, it's still going to cause knock-on effects, particularly for places like Germany.
But isn't the ruble going down all the
Well,
time?
the ruble's in trouble.
Yeah.
But, places like Germany are going to be they rely on Russian oil. Turn that off and things fall apart, So, I think that's a danger. And I tell you what, I also was picking up. I have a feeling we're going to start to get a lot of, I'd sound like a prophet of doom again here, but I think we're going to, I think we're going to get ahead some more environmental problems associated with the insect kingdom. Because there's been a lot of mutations happening unexpectedly with some animals, where, for example, ants, where they normally would have one queen, they're getting double queens. I mean,
well, here's your ant queen here, Greg. What more could you say?
Yeah, but they've been getting things like double queens, which never happens, and they've been getting these mutations that would cause sort of an increase in that. This is for red fire ants around the world that I was reading about. This is not, this is me reading about these things. But it makes you think, could there not be something more ahead? I mean, we seem to have plague, pestilence, war, famine, and, these are very difficult times.
Well, it's all in the Bible, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not a believer in the way they interpret all that, but I think the turning point towards the golden age, which we could talk about, has that.
Do you want to read this?
Yeah, so Neil's saying, nice to see that you've got 100k subscribers. Yeah, thank you guys. And also, actually, Domenico, and you don't know this either, Jan, I got the email through today to say we got our little plaque thing. So we'll apply for that now. Do you see anything in particular for Mangalore in India or Melbourne
Bangalore?
in Australia?
Do you mean Bangalore?
Bangalore, yeah, Mangalore. Bangalore,
It's
he means.
Bangalore.
Yeah. I think it means Bangalore, yeah. Oh, I don't know really, Neil, to be honest. I've already made quite a lot of predictions already about Australia, like the floods. I talked about tsunami there. We had the other things I talked about, the politics of Australia already in one of my videos. Have you got any particular thoughts for Australia, Jane?
No, I haven't. No,
I did I've got a whole video out there on that I've done.
Well, enough said then if you've done that.
As for Bangalore, I know I can't really. To be honest, it does. You know,
You can't switch it on.
we
like
can't.
that.
When people say, "Oh, predict this, predict that," but me and Jane, like you said it last week, Jane, you get it in flashes, don't we?
I do. I
really?
get inspiration
and
flashes.
and it's the same with me too. Really, you just get a flash of something, and you don't know what you've got. But when you do get those flashes and you're able to interpret it, it gives you some insight. But if I'm to sit down and say, you know, I'm going to predict all the winners of the next Grand National, it's not going to happen.
As you were talking there, Craig, and saying flashes, I just saw marching in Ukraine, and it's not with the Russian soldiers, with some soldiers. I can hear the boots marching towards there to help them as we're talking now.
Okay, so that's not Ukrainian, it's not Russian. You feel there's going to be some other...
There's going to be some army or some force. And what's the date today? It's March the 12th, isn't it?
I don't know. I've lost complete track of time at my age. Every day merges into one.
Poor sad man.
But that's kind of how it comes, though, isn't it? I mean,
just seen that, and I can hear military, and I can march, and I can hear the thuds of the army boots. And because I believe that Putin's going to get mercenaries coming in, but it's not those people I'm seeing. It's people from our world, not from mercenaries from the Arab worlds or that, but I can see underground force. I can hear marching of the boots.
I get a feeling Israel's going to have something to do too.
I've already done that.
Yeah, but could this not be something coming in from Israel?
It's an elite force. It's an elite secret force.
Yeah.
Right, Matt. Craig.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going off myself. I was just thinking if I pick anything up myself.
Good evening from Torquay. I've looked at Putin's birth chart, and he's a Libra.
Yeah, I know.
Where powerful Scorpio rising. That Scorpio rising explains why it's destructive and many other things. Well, not all Scorpions are destructive, are they?
Yeah, Scorpio
Libras?
Rising sign. Yeah, I think I can't remember. I think I might have a bit of Scorpio Rising in my sign. And he's a Libran, like yourself, Jane. You know.
But I'm not a destructive person.
And Margaret Thatcher was a Libran, wasn't she?
Yeah, and she really was a powerful woman, wasn't she?
Yeah, and Alistair Crowley, I think, was a Libran. Pretty rotten sign.
Yes, but he was a man, so we'll make excuses.
I'm an
for
Aquarian.
He was a man.
Yeah. No,
Christina,
it all depends on the positions of all your planets.
Christina, I don't know what you think of Baba
Vanga.
But didn't she predict that Putin would be poisoned?
Oh, did she? No, I don't know about that, actually, because the problem is
There's
on
so
the web,
many.
particularly with Baba Vanga, there's been so many fake predictions being put out there just to sort of clickbait type stuff, you know. Baba Vanga predicts for 2022 this, you know, and you see them all at the beginning of the year.
It's funny, isn't it? Because Rasputin, he was shot at, and they gave him a drink with poison and that, and it didn't affect his system whatsoever.
No, because they reckon he became immune to it because they gave him it so often that his body became resistant
he got shot
to it.
in the end
It's
and thrown
possible,
over
yeah.
the river.
Did she? But maybe she did. I don't know. But as far I'm a bit worried about the Baba Vanga stuff because there's an awful lot of fake stuff. The same things happened with Nostradamus. It's been so compromised. And so if I look at the Nostradamus stuff, I go and get the old books from the 1970s and read those predictions and read those interpretations and read Nostradamus' original kind of translated text. And it's completely different to what you see on the internet nowadays. So I think, I might be wrong with that. I might be wrong. I mean, maybe she did, but I don't think she did somehow. Dear Craig and Jane, do you see Germany getting attacked by Russia?
I think I could honestly say that he's got marked Finland, Sweden, and possibly Germany. So that might be a plan that he wants, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come to fruition, does it, Craig?
No, I was actually concerned about Romania myself, actually,
Yes,
but
Slovenia.
and also the Baltic states.
Slovenia.
But
We
I
have
think,
been to Russia, haven't we, Craig? And the people were very nice.
yeah. Also, one of the patrons. I was doing the Zoom meetings with the patrons the other day, and one of them came up with a really interesting question, actually, right at the end. So we didn't get. It was on the. I think it was on that video that I did from the patrons recently, and she said, "Do the predictions and does destiny change? As is it set in stone or does it change? Because the things we do, the actions we take collectively." Do they change, or are these wars and are these things that come along, do they have to be? And it's an interesting question because really they do change. Because otherwise, for example, when we send these healing thoughts and we do a meditation, you've done meditations on your channel and I've done them on mine, we send these healing thoughts. Well, if it was all set in stone and it couldn't change, then we're wasting our time, aren't we? Because we're not nothing's going to change. People are just going to suffer and we just have to accept it, And that fatalistic attitude, I don't think is right, because we can change things. And that's why, we might see things. We see the potential of the way ahead. And I often think of it like, I say this to people when they have readings with me with the Ching and things. I say, what we see is kind of the spiritual weather, right? And I think the psychic people in the world, all of us, get a sense of the spiritual weather ahead. We see more than the pundits would see and the newsmen would see. And we see these things coming, and we get glimpses, and it's not always clear. We get it in flashes, like you say, Jane, don't we? Or we get an occasional glimpse of things. So. But I don't think it's all set. Otherwise, what's the point of us having any free will whatsoever?
You can't stop events. You couldn't stop earthquakes. You couldn't stop
hurricanes. You might be able to stop all of it.
You couldn't possibly stop hurricanes, because then again, it's nature and it's the weather.
But even that might be affected by the mind.
Karmically, all these things happen.
This karmic. Well, it might not be possible to completely stop it, but maybe we can negate it. We can make it less. Maybe the karma that the world has can be made less by good thoughts, good actions, good deeds.
Right,
anyway, that's a thought for you.
Craig and Jane, love you guys. Please, could you do predictions for Mexico? Riva, Craig, over to you.
Well, like I said, all those things, I would rather sort of sit and do the predictions and put them out as we get them come in meditation and flashes. I mean, right now, I don't know. I'd have to sort of tune in for it with things like that, because Mexico's lots of, obviously, potential dangers in Mexico with its economy. There's potential dangers with earthquakes in Mexico, for example. But unless I'm given it spiritually, I think just to ask us questions about that, it's too difficult really at the moment. We can't pull it out the air. We have to wait till we've got it. But we can talk about some of the predictions we made and some of the things we feel already. So I couldn't say I feel that.
P. Smith, all this gloom, Craig. Where are all the cakes and cookies? Greedy man, he's eating them.
None today, is there? We've got a packet of crisps on there and a few gummy bears, but that's about it. Yeah. Sorry, folks. We'll get some of those nice cakes that we had last week, or the other week. Is the UK going to suffer greatly due to the war? The cost of living is already way more expensive than salary income.
Well, I think first of all, we've got to think we're very blessed. We're not like these poor people in Ukraine. They've got no water, no electricity. Though food is very expensive in the UK, it's like anything. It's what you spend your money on, isn't it? So it's up to you what you do with your money to buy food. If people are going to buy expensive food like steaks and things like that, it's up to you to budget.
It's like they used to say, you've never had it so good. Because you think about it, we've had this coffee bar, we can go and spend, you can go into a Starbucks or something and you have a couple of coffees, and by the time you finish, you're on to 15 quid or something or more, just with a cup of coffee on a snack. And you think, where's it all go? And we've got used to of a very greedy world, really. And I think we will see some changes economically. These are things I've made in my other predictions.
When we go back in our grandparents' time, they used to have wonderful vegetable gardens, didn't they? They used to have a greenhouse with salad stuff.
Yeah.
And they grow fruit. They had chickens and eggs. So maybe it might be one way of thinking. Perhaps we can grow our own vegetables.
Yeah, I think getting back to... Yogananda said that we would all go back to a sort of a decentralised world where people would live on the land.
Yeah, I think that's a good...
I think perhaps in the longer term of humanity we will.
Good mantra.
And I think that would be a good world. I think that would be the golden age.
Yes.
Would
Grow
be
your own
completely
veg.
different, maybe no cities. So Annabelle's saying, I loved hearing the story of how Doris Stokes predicted you meeting each other. Such an uplifting story in these sad times.
Get your book.
Sorry?
Get the book.
Yeah, but it was uplifting because, you know, I think when those type of stories, it's kind of like the bigger picture of things, you know. We're all focused, aren't we, all the time on all the troubles of the world, and you think the world's a dark and heavy place, you know, and all the rest of it. But actually, when you look at the bigger picture of the world and the bigger picture of your own life, you know, this journey we have through life is quite a short little journey, really. It's everything we got, we think. But when we know about the spirit world, people like Doris Stokes, who got us started with our mediumship, can be a very hopeful messages, really. You know, I mean, Jane and I, our main work always, and I think this is, people forget this, they always ask them predictions. And actually, our main work is as mediums.
Yes.
We are mediumistic. And most of the things we do when
And
people come to see us,
And
and clairvoyant, but I mean, but we prove to people that life goes on. And if you think about it, you know, all the things that go through this life, all the troubles we get in this world, they're just passing shadows. We go into a much better place after death, and our life continues. So all this fear that we have, when you think about it, all the fear about Ukraine and the fear about this and the fear about, it's all fears of death ultimately. It's all death behind it. It's all our non-acceptance of death. And I think if we can accept death as just as a stepping from one world to a next, you know, then I think we can perhaps put things in perspective. And I think Doris Stokes in that story, if you read it in the books, did all that for us.
Matt says, I was going to send you both a Victorian sponge for tonight by recorded delivery. Next week, I'll take you up on that. No, but I mean, last night I had a strange dream that Elvis Presley was walking beside me. It was so real, honey. So real. It was a wonderful dream.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? It's like he was trying to show me next time I walked beside you.
Yeah.
He was quite big and tall and you looked perfect.
Well, you'll have to interpret it.
Well,
Entertainment.
Well, he's in the spirit world, isn't he?
Yeah. So Sheila's saying, good evening to you both. Craig, you predicted an energy that would be free to the world. Is this from Elon Musk? I don't necessarily think so. Not from Elon Musk, I don't think. Because I spoke a lot that I think what's going to transform the way the whole world is ultimately is if we have, and they're working on it, of course, nowadays. I was talking about this quite some years ago, originally, and I do think that the biggest turning point that the world is ever going to see is when we have free energy, as it were, because it's quite possible to get energy out of nothing. In fact, Edgar Cayce talked about a perpetual motion machine, but actually that's what it is in a way. It's like something, the more energy you put in, the more energy you get out. So you get more out than you put in. And the energy you get out, you make more energy, which you get even more. And it's quite possible, the physics of things, it's quite possible to be able to do that. Now, if we had unlimited energy, it would take so many of the pressures of the world's resources off us, wouldn't it? All this business often, all these battles are often over oil and resources and the rest of it. But it would, I think it could create a much, much fairer world, and particularly the desalination of water, so we could green the desert, so we can green Australia, and we could, you know, we could even rebuild the ice caps if we wanted to, because unlimited energy could give us complete control over everything. So I think that could be the answer to the utopian world of the golden age on a material level. But I think the most important thing that we're going to see in the longer term future of the world, when we talk about a golden age that comes out of these difficult times, is an awakening of people, not just like a political awakening of people, not just like a material awakening, but a real, true spiritual awakening, a higher level of consciousness, you know, higher levels of consciousness. So, do you fancy some ginger tea?
You know, ginger tea is already there. You want to read it?
Do you have any predictions about the Queen's health? You go this, you go this, you go
You got
this,
this,
you go
isn't it?
this,
Not you go this.
You got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I predicted the Queen's going to pass this year, so that was already in my earlier predictions at the beginning of the year. So I still hold by
She's
that.
95.
I don't think she's going to be with us.
Well, I
longer
think
this year.
she's got problems with her back at the moment, and I believe she had COVID as well. And I believe she's not going to the Commonwealth or that. Prince Charles
she's
is
had the
stepping
COVID,
in.
which is pretty
And
hard
she's
on
quite
most
a
people.
resilient lady. You remember, she got the very best care and everything. So she's very positive. But there's only so much, like when we all get older, there's only so much you can do, isn't
I
there?
think I said I see her through her jubilee.
She will.
But I think that not long after that, I think that's when she begins to, in her mind, starts to think, I've done it now. I've done my work. So that's a sad thing, and I don't like to predict a death, but it was something that I felt very strongly at the beginning of the predictions of the earlier part of the year in October last year. Hello, Jean and Craig. There are people in Florida go to the beaches and push hurricanes away. It works.
Have you been there, Craig, pushing the hurricane away?
No, but that's true, actually. And one of the things I like, you know, you're talking about, you know, we can't stop hurricanes, you can think, but actually, I think you can change everything in the world. Everything that happens in your life can be changed with consciousness. This is what we will learn about consciousness. But there's also people, for example, it's a really interesting experiment talking about Elvis Presley, because he used to try to do this too.
Clouds.
You look at the clouds and you can see pictures in the clouds and things. But also, if you look at a cloud, it's like it tries to say, I'm going to make that bit of cloud dissolve and disappear, or I'm going to make that bit of cloud change.
I think you've done some cloud reading.
Yeah, I did a whole thing on the BBC with it once. I did a couple of hour program. It was a long one, and I was talking. It was a whole program about clouds and what happens with them. And I was saying about how you can use your mind to change clouds. I mean, you need cumulus clouds, you know, nice fluffy clouds in the blue against the blue sky, really, to see it.
You like fluffy clouds?
Yeah, but try it. See if you can change the position of clouds and the way clouds shape, and it does appear to work. You could be conning yourself, of course, but I mean, there's been a few sort of experiments with that, and it does seem to work. It does seem to work. So maybe we can do that.
Right. Joe says, hello, Jane and Craig. My first time on your live show. I think that Putin will come to an end soon, but I feel someone will carry on with this immoral and illegal war. What are your thoughts? I think that the Russian people will be pleased when it's all over.
I think they'll be glad to be rid of him.
Yeah. I mean, even...
He's popular there, though.
Yeah,
I'm
sure he is. But even the children, if they're fighting against it with plaques and that, and other Russian people, they put them in prison, you know. Yeah.
No. Putin is popular, but then he's got full control of the media there, and the Russian people do tend to like a nice, strong leader, you know. So he fulfills a lot of things, but I think they don't tolerate failure as well, and I think his time's going to come to an end. Would bad follow again? Would you be getting, you know, get rid of the old boss and here comes the new boss and just as bad as the one that was there before?
No, I don't think so. I think they'll want peace.
I think if he did go, there would be an excuse then, a reason to come out of Ukraine and say, well, we made a mistake. It was his fault, you know. Yeah. And I think they could back out, because even if they took all of Ukraine, which I don't think they will, but if they took all of Ukraine, they'd never hold it, because it's too big and the people are too resistant. It would cost a fortune.
Yeah. Well, Apple says, hello, Craig and Jane. I've started growing microgreens, as Jane suggested, with, middling results. So the sooner you start, the better. Yeah, they're meant to be good. I wanted to do that myself because they're healthy for you, like plant food. Yeah. I watched a program about it. Somebody went to, I think, Spain or Italy somewhere, and they started a business with growing these micro things, and they were selling it to sort of 5-star
they're nice, apparently.
Restaurants.
It's like bean sprout type things, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're very, very good. And I think because all food prices and things are going up, I think we could all do that. Yeah,
I think grow your own is probably quite a good idea.
Well, do you remember as a child you used to grow cress seeds and blotting paper?
Yeah, but in terms of your health, actually, too, freshly grown food is what you would call Satwick food.
That's right.
Because it's got life force in it.
That's
you know, and that has a healing power. Hi Jane, hi Craig. Can you guys predict who's going to be the next president of the United States for 2024?
Well, it certainly won't be you, Craig.
Do you think it's going to be Trump?
I think he's got a good chance to be, but I think, people have got to go on really what a president can do for the country.
I'll tell you what, I don't think. It definitely won't be Biden. I think the world is shocked by his
He walks away from
ineptitude.
questions, doesn't
He won't even answer questions.
From the
He
journalists.
he did all those talking about Ukraine and what they're going to do. He puts it forward, and then he don't take a single question from the press.
He walks off.
And that's as bad as Putin, isn't it? Not being answerable to the press. I mean, that's really important that you're cross-examined. And then, of course, Trump was the other way. I was watching some of his videos about his condemning Ukraine going back in 2021, and he was saying Ukraine's a corrupt country, so it comes back to haunt him a bit. But I mean, Biden, I think, has been a very, very bad president for the world in this very difficult time. We've got so many weak people out there. Biden, I think, is weak. I think that we got bad leadership in Canada, France, Germany, all round, and even Britain. We've got bad leadership at the moment all round, and we've got terrible problems in the world. I think my feeling is I think Trump will eventually get in. I think he will make another stab, and I think he'll get there.
Right. Kim says, talking of dreams, I had a dream that I went out for dinner with you two this week. Well, that's quite possible,
Yeah,
Kim.
you didn't pay the bill. I noticed that.
No. And Kim's got a lot to look forward to because I know she's got a new grandchild coming soon. That's wonderful.
Well, thanks for taking us out for that meal, Kim. I woke up hungry though.
Chocolate devil. I love it. I haven't heard from the news about aliens from the government revealing that they're here and helping. The secret's out, Craig.
Yeah, I haven't heard from the news. I haven't heard from the news. Well, there's not been any news, basically, you're saying. I haven't heard anything about aliens. I'll tell you what, though, I did find out, though, that we were talking about that green food and everything, but aliens definitely...
Micro.
Yeah, but they reckon that aliens are definitely not vegans. Because if they were vegans, they'd have told us about it.
Oh, I didn't
Did
get
that joke fall flat there?
Very flat.
But
That's
anyway,
a schoolboy joke.
I don't know. We've talked about aliens before on this. I think aliens, if you're going to travel intergalactic travel, the only way to travel intergalactic travel is interdimensional travel, which would probably be more in an etheric form than it would ever be in a material form, but who knows. Sheila says, did Sharavana Baba give any insights into the current war, and if there will be another virus? There seems to be a resurgence in China.
Well, I don't feel that Sharavana Baba has given any information.
No, I don't think he did
that.
give anything on that,
And
actually.
and I don't
He said there would be another virus, because
Well, I
I was
think
there when
that-
he said it
Well,
in India.
yeah.
And the China bit, this is something, Sheila, that I've been harping on about for a long time, because my big fear for the future, and this is what I feel I've said in a lot of my predictions, is that China and Russia would be in cahoots with each other. Now, I said that right back in 2018. I was talking in might have been earlier videos than that.
You're saying China and Russia?
China and Russia would get together.
I don't know. I think the Chinese, what's his name? Ping, is it? Kim Ping?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think he'll view Russia in a different, fresh eyes, because remember, they sell an awful lot of produce to England and around the world.
Well, they're trying to keep one foot in both camps at the moment. But my fear is, you see, we've got two basically very disgusting organisations. The Russian government and the Chinese government are both awful organisations. China did terrible things in Tibet. Russia did terrible things in Afghanistan, like the Americans did, but also all round terrible things at the moment with Ukraine and things. And we've got two non-elected dictators in the world, just like we had Hitler and Stalin. We got two really dodgy people in the world. And what do? We buy everything from them. We buy all the cameras in here. Well, probably most of it's made in China. The only things that aren't these because they're so old.
So.
Sorry?
Japan.
Oh, Japan.
Japan.
Oh, they were made in Japan.
I saw,
well,
Craig.
the
Forgive
Japanese
you,
seem
I
to be all right.
saw.
They've got a democracy.
So
But I mean, it's not the people, of course. It's not the Chinese people. It's not the Russian people. It's the people that got the country by the throat, as it were.
Right.
You know.
Now, Owen says, will 2028 be the start of the Great Awakening?
2023. I haven't got my glasses
Oh,
on.
well, oh right. I put them on, and I can see it better without the glasses on now.
Yeah,
I think the awakening's starting
I
already.
think it is. I think we're right in the beginning
Just starting.
of things, because it's the dark before the dawn. I think we will get better times ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, we've come out of some heavy years. I mean, the whole thing with the virus has been terrible. The whole thing with the wars that are threatening us. It could get far worse with other areas yet. But I think we've got the consequence of global warming and potential crop failures ahead. I feel that's all going to be there. But, you know, these world problems are so big that they can only be sorted if everybody comes together. They can only be sorted that way. No one country can sort this lot out. So we have to have much more global thinking in terms of not just global profits, but global harmony and global coming together. And you think about it, all the people around the world are watching this everywhere. All people from all over are watching this, and we all think the same. You know, we all think the same about, we want a better world, you know. And so
we want a better world for our children,
People
grandchildren,
do.
the future generation.
Most of the people in the world don't want bloody anybody invading anybody else or anything like that.
Look who we were talking about today.
We were wondering what happened to you, Nicardo Avocado, because we haven't heard from you for a few weeks. Craig, I was watching a video about a deadly bacteria that made its way into the perfume spray and it killed a bunch of people.
Well, we've got Salisbury.
But they did that in Salisbury here, just up the road from us. Wouldn't that be horrible if something like that becomes large scale? Well, that's what the Russians did with the perfume sprays. You might have been reading about the stories that happened just up the road
Salisbury.
here. It's just, we're in Winchester. Salisbury's not that far from here.
There were 2 Russian spies. They came to Salisbury,
Yeah.
and I believe they put it on a Russian person that worked for them that defected, and they put it on his letterbox, and his daughter touched it. He did, and he dropped dead, poisoned.
Yeah, picked that spray up
And
the
that
bin.
was, and it didn't look like a perfume bottle because it was white and it had like a long tube.
Yeah.
And a woman picked it up.
Yeah. So an ordinary
In a
person
park.
picked it up. And that's horrible. I mean, what type of minds dream up these weapons of war, you know, and these diseases that they, in laboratories, what type of mindset do people have?
Mad
to produce that
people.
stuff? And yet it's everywhere.
Mad
You know?
people.
They call it defence. So, yeah. I mean, I think we're always, ever since mankind and womankind have been on Earth, there's always been weapons of war, haven't there? We're never going to be rid of it. And once one person's got a gun, everybody's going to have a gun. And the only way we're ever going to really change it all is if we change the people that carry these things, you know? If people who
Well, I expect in the future there'd be space wars, won't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the things that, you know...
Oh, my mic, sorry. No, it's me, not you. I had my hand over it, sorry.
Hopefully that's working okay. I'll just turn it on.
Your name's not Jane.
Oh, Jane, you might.
Yeah,
I thought
you're
it
a
was
Craig.
mic. The mine's the one that goes
Oh,
on.
Craig.
Working? Yeah?
Okay.
I keep getting problems with mine, mate. Better?
You got it on, it's
Working?
going. Yeah,
Yeah?
light's flashing.
Turn it off and
Perhaps
on.
is the wire coming out a bit, Craig? No, on the plug-in,
No, it's
on the
all right.
inbox.
I'll unplug and plug it in again.
Craig. Craig.
Talking?
Yeah, what's that going to...
Working?
Is it working? Yeah.
Yeah? You got it?
Good to go.
I'll put it on there just in case we get a problem. We keep
Yeah.
getting mic problems.
Well, you
That's
keep
the
putting
next
it in
thing.
your pocket, that's
Well,
why.
you don't want it being seen all the time. You usually hide the mics.
Well, it's better to be heard than not seen.
Okay, well, we're working again. Sounds like we're in business again with sound. We had a lot of sound problems tonight, but we're going to be buying some new sound equipment hopefully soon, actually.
Yeah.
These cheapy mics we're using. So where did we get to?
Well, you were talking about perfume bottles.
Yeah, I don't think it will be on a large scale,
No.
Nick,
no.
but I think all those type of things have been, you know, devious, nasty ways. And of course here, I don't know if it was covered well in America, actually. We had people being killed by umbrellas. What you're basically doing is dipping the bottom of the umbrella in this very, very toxic poison. I mean, it's a chemical warfare poison, and they only need to brush against it or touch it, and they touch them with the umbrella, poke them with their umbrella as they walk past someone, go through the clothes, everything, and kill you. But kill you in dreadfully slow, agonising ways. And they were picking off a lot of the Russian dissidents over here. Anybody that spoke out about Putin were laying in hospital with their skin burning up. It was dreadful stuff. I mean,
you haven't got an umbrella with you tonight.
But I don't know how well covered it was in America. It probably was covered in America, I should imagine.
Don't take your umbrella out.
No. But I mean, yeah, these are ingenious ways to cause mass murder and
Kathy,
ingenious ways to
hi,
subterfuge.
Craig and Jane. Do you think all that Boris Johnson has had to deal with, will he stay Prime Minister? I think he's done a good job, don't you?
Well, I think he's got debatable, but I think he's stay in, definitely. He got through. For him, very convenient, wasn't it, that we had that war in Ukraine, because now he can come up with this Churchillian sort of, we're going to fight and help the Ukrainian people, and everybody can ignore all the Partygate stuff.
Yeah.
So he's very, very slippery character in that respect. I think he'll stay Prime Minister. I think he might even want to fight for a second term, and I think he will fight for a second term. So that's what I feel.
I liked Margaret Thatcher because she used to say, this woman is not for turning.
Yeah.
I liked her. She was a strong
At
woman.
least she was straight with people.
Yes.
Yeah. Tony Blair I didn't like that much. He kind of tried to change the Labour Party, didn't he? But all of them, I can't think of a single one. I mean, politically, I don't know. I wish we could find something good in the world for all of it. I mean, everywhere, in every country in the world, you look at the politicians and you couldn't design them to be worse, could you? Do you think Candace Owen will run in 2024?
Who's Candace Owen?
Candace Owen's a really well-spoken, very eloquent black woman in America,
right,
who's on the Republican Party.
Okay.
And I felt that she is the one that's going to run beside Trump, because I said that Trump may not necessarily get in himself, but he'll be going in on a double ticket, and there's someone working with him that is a black woman, and I think it could be that Candace Owen.
Well, there's no reason
but
why...
she's too young. She can't.
Yeah,
I don't think she's allowed to stand at the moment.
there's no reason why a woman can't be good, Craig, whatever colour they are.
No, I'm saying she's good, but she's really clever speaker, and got some, from what I saw a little bit of her stuff. But that's what I was picking up, because people were saying, "Oh, what you're picking up on, Craig, is Candace Owen." I didn't know who she was,
No,
and then I looked at her and I thought, actually, this is it. This is a woman that I think has the potential to go right to the top. I think at the moment, I don't know American politics. I don't think there's something that prevents her from becoming a president at the moment, because of, I think it's something to do with, it might be her age or something.
How old
But
is she then?
I'm not sure. But I do think that she should come in with Trump. I think that she might even be the one that is the kingmaker. Craig and Jane, would both of you like to have been Prime Minister?
Well, I would certainly change a few things, I tell you. If I was Prime Minister, definitely would. I'd bring back the old-fashioned labour exchange. You'd be offered 3 jobs. If you didn't take the third one, you didn't get no money.
I'd get rid of all cyclists.
Yeah. No, I would...
Cyclists would be shot. Anybody wearing Lycra or whatever it is they wear would be exiled or something, you know.
I would, and what else would I do? I'd make sure the hospitals were filled up with qualified nurses for a start. I'd make sure all the streets were cleaned with
so everything's
no
going to
rubbish.
be clean and tidy.
Yeah, I'd get them men out there picking up the rubbish.
Yeah, it's often funny to think about what would you do if you had the control over things.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? You would help the poor. I think every child in the world, especially in UK, shouldn't live below the poverty line.
I'd get rid of all these tax loopholes. I'd have one set tax system
I wouldn't have
that applies to
envelope
everybody.
money that goes abroad.
In fact, I'd get rid of all tax and just have VAT. So the only thing you have to is, you can earn what you like, but you put the tax on the things that are expensive, but you know, that are luxury goods, and make things like food and that easy to buy, but things that are luxurious, high VAT on them. And I would. Yeah, there's lots of things I do actually. Yeah. Love from Arkansas, USA.
that a new patron?
Yeah, well, that's just someone's just put $19.99 just
thank
to
you
say
very
thank you.
much.
You know, and that's really kind of you.
It
These are the
is.
like the super, I think they call them super stickers or something. That you know they put it up and it comes up in a different colour.
That's
And
good,
it means
isn't
they've
it?
given a donation so as to help us, and I thank you for that.
Who is the portrait over your fireplace? Is it Charles I's wife? No, it's his mistress, and she was tattooed.
Yeah.
She has got tattooed.
Yeah, yeah. You can never see her face, can you? You never see her mysterious face. One day we'll just have to reveal her face so everybody can see what she looks like. Yeah. Antonio, my eyes are going. Temei, Lisa Slaymaker, cleansing, reading, love spells. Oh, this! Here we go.
All
Now
right.
this is quite fun, isn't it? Well, now this is what we call a scammer, right? Or a spammer, because scammer and a spammer actually. Look at that! She offers spells, hex spells removal. Now this is the sort of problem we're obviously going to ban in a moment, but you know you've got to watch out on YouTube and Facebook for all these people that pretend to be psychics. You know, they are absolute monsters.
Thousands.
These people, absolute monsters. And you know, obviously go to their site and put a complaint in. Everybody, please look it up, follow it through, and put a complaint and get them banned completely, so their profile is taken off. Because these are people who just, you know, and you get people pretending to be me and Jane. And people being off, some of our friends have had it happen to them. You know, you get scammers all the time. Beware. Beware of people that push you to try to have psychic readings, saying, I'll give you a free half hour and then I'm going to do this and that. You know, it's not a thing we should market. You know, most people, psychics, are going to be nothing like that. Last questions, please, guys, for tonight. What would you like to say? And don't forget, if you've been enjoying this set, it's all possible, and the studio here where we're doing it is all possible because of the patrons who help us. And if you have a look in the description below, you'll find the link of where you can become a patron. And if you come on and become a patron too, you'll be able to take part in our Zoom stuff. We're going to be doing some Zoom stuff that is set up for patrons here as well. So you'll also be able to contact me through the patrons if you make a subscription. It's as little as $3. It's only a tiny amount. Or if you want to become one of the other tiers, you can take part in some of the other activities we have. But not just this place, of course, we're also giving things in charitable donations, and we're also doing a lot working towards getting a proper centre together where we can bring people in and have groups of people and crowds of people and demonstrations of mediumship going on. So that's all for the future, but it comes from
And
all
also,
of you.
I'll be giving a free reading once a month here.
Yeah, we've got a number of things planned. Jane's going to be doing some free a reading. So
Once a month.
someone will be sat in this chair. Once a month, we're going to have someone given Jane given a reading to live. I'm also going to be doing a séance in which I'm going to be doing some teachings and doing some readings round the table with my old psychic circle coming together, and that will also be linked in with the patrons, I hope, so that the patrons can join us on Zoom and get messages. And I'll be putting some messages up for the patrons to send us a few things for psychometry, because we're going to be doing that as well. So lots of interesting things coming up. We have our friends on from time to time too that we have chats with. And yeah, there's going to be quite an interesting.
We're going to have
and we've got a
guests.
lot of guests hopefully lined up shortly too. So particularly if you want to be a guest on this show with us, either live here in Winchester, or you'd like to do something on Zoom with me, we can have some chats. Get in touch with me through the website. And there's nice new graphics for this one, as Domenico can see it there, at psychics.co.uk. And it's up in the corner of the screen anyway. Go and have a look at the contact form. If you'd like to come on the show, you'd like to do a Zoom meeting with me, then you know we can make that part of the show as well. Last questions now, guys.
Agility bits. Margaret Thatcher was a hard woman. She didn't seem to care about the poor people in society. Well, I don't think that was a bit true, because she encouraged people to buy their own council house, didn't she? It gave them an opportunity. There's nothing wrong with that, Craig,
Yeah.
because Not everybody can
Yeah,
afford
we'd
their
make
own
some good.
homes.
We'd make some good programs about Margaret Thatcher if she was around. Wouldn't you? She was very contentious. I watched a Showtime special called UFO about alien sightings, abductions, and how the governments have denied existence for decades. Made me think of your superhuman prediction to come. Yes, this was something I was talking about when we're talking about the longer term future of the world. We were going to talk about the golden age a bit, weren't we? Because I see that, you know, what's going to happen with people. We're going to evolve. We're not. We seem to think this is it. This is the human form. We've evolved far enough now, but you know, it's going to go further. And the next stage for human development was something that I think we already had and something we lost, which is to tap the power of consciousness. Because consciousness is not just awareness, it's actually a dynamic thing that can do things. Like you can project consciousness. Like, for example, when an object moves, or even a spoon bends, for example, or the clouds change, we can project consciousness. We can use consciousness collectively together to create sort of vibrations that can say help heal people or heal countries and so forth. But these are just the tips of the iceberg about the powers of consciousness. And I think one day we're going to have, and probably not soon, because evolution doesn't go all very slowly. Evolution goes slowly, and then takes huge leaps sometimes. And I think we're going to see some huge leaps in evolution, but the evolution of consciousness, something that is beyond perhaps normal evolution, something that's beyond the body. But I'm seeing us harnessing that in the years to come. These will be the kind of the supermen and superwomen of the future.
Okay. Well, this superwoman's just answering Mark's question. Will you do a programme on Jack the Ripper?
Well, we did start to do a programme on Jack the Ripper with one of my friends, and we were going to go to the we had the Jack the Ripper access to the Jack the Ripper museum, didn't we? So we were able to get some of the
actual
artifacts.
Blood on there from the last person murdered.
And I mean, a lot has been talked about with Jack the Ripper. Who did it? You know, was it the Polish guy or whatever?
They tried to say it was the Prince of Wales. So
yeah, and there's also, but it would
son.
be good. I'd like to revisit that actually, Jane, and I think it would be good to do a programme.
Perhaps we can make a programme on it.
I think that's one to do with Domenico actually, because I'd like to make that into a programme and we go to the sites where we do the investigations and we interview the people, and you know, again, that means us going out on location a bit more. But the weather's changing now.
Maybe summertime. We can
do that one in time.
Yeah. Mark says, Matt, rather, thanks very much, Craig and Jane, for a good show, and Domenico too. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Matt.
Thanks Domenico in the background there. I mean, he's been rushing around getting all this new kit working while we've been just sat here just having a chat with you. So it's a lot of work goes on in the background.
Deborah
guys.
says, thank you very much. Thank you, Deborah, for watching us. What's Domenico's thoughts on the spiritual realms in his belief? Well, he's too busy concentrating on doing in the control room. I can't speak for Domenico,
but I know he's got a lot of interesting ideas.
Yes.
I mean, in his family too, when we went to Italy, he was given some of the family tarot cards were given to him,
and a book,
and the books of the paranormal that go right back in the family history there. So you know, he's got a deep interest in these type of things, but in a different way. Very interested again in things like the UFOs. Very interested in the things like the snake people that are wrote a book he has on them, what the meaning of the snake in mythology and what it means. So we're going to have to do some more and get some thoughts of Domenico, maybe around the seance room table sometime. We can get one of our friends to do the camera work and have a bit more chat with Domenico too, because all interesting thoughts on different things.
Vera says thank you. Thank you, Vera.
Have you ever seen the Queen? In real life, okay.
Yes, I have stood in front of the Queen actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has she seen you in real life? Then?
She did. Yeah. She nodded her head to me. I have actually seen the Queen.
I saw the Queen of Holland, Queen Juliani, I think it was, when I was a little boy, 6, and I was actually
in front of her, Craig. Actually in front, and I can tell lots of stories as well because I actually know a butler that served the
Oh
Queen.
yeah, we do
and
know
I've
the
stayed
butlers.
there. I do know lots
we
of the royal
know some of the
family,
butlers
actually.
that served the Queen and some of the stories behind it. But Jane, we dare not say those stories. We'd
No,
be
I
in
could sell it. I'd be a
serious,
very wealthy woman.
serious problems. Some of the stories there. Good God,
No,
make
you
your hair
sign a
curl if you had any.
confidentiality that you
Yeah.
mustn't tell stories, actually. You're most
Be careful what
important.
you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meditation Chamber. Great show. Went very fast. It did, didn't it? I did
Yeah,
go
it
quick
did.
tonight. Nice to see you both. Thank you, says Leticia. Isabel says
thank you. Thank you.
Lottie
Lottie.
says, thanks Domenico. And Craig and Jane, love and peace everyone.
Yeah, peace to you too.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are recognising Domenico in the background there. It's nice of you because it is.
Yeah, he
there's
works
a lot
really
goes
hard.
into it, you know.
Really hard.
And he's in a very high-powered job, and he has to take the time out to do
yeah,
this. It's
he
not
works
easy.
very hard.
Great show as always. Thank you, Nana.
Oh,
Sheila, thanks for coming again, Sheila. Thank you, all three of you, for a wonderful evening.
thank you, Sheila.
Wow, amazing. I love Italy so much, says Lottie.
Yeah, we do too, don't
Yeah,
we?
we're going to be doing some shows from Italy in the summer. Yeah, we hope to. Pauline, loved the live tonight. Very interesting. Have a wonderful weekend, Jane and Craig.
And you too, Pauline.
You make my Saturday afternoons pleasant just by being there
Oh,
for
isn't
us.
that sweet?
Is it afternoon?
It's evening now, isn't it? 8 o'clock.
Kathy says, all I can say, great show with great people. Thanks for an interesting
Thank you,
evening.
Kathy,
Thank
and
you,
I hope
Kathy.
you're feeling
And
a
thank
bit
you all
better
of you
now.
who have been such supporters and all the comments you put in afterwards
Yeah.
and things, you know. I mean, you know, generally they're always really pretty nice
Yeah.
comments.
Apple
actually.
says, thank you, Craig and Jane and Domenico. Nice weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Apple. Kit, great show. Goodbye from Chicago.
All our regulars coming on. It's nice to see you again,
Yeah.
Kit. Thanks for joining us again. Fleming
Flem-
saying thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, you.
And don't forget, if you like more, become a patron. There's other bits and pieces we're putting on there, and we're going to put a lot more of the behind the scenes stuff
Yeah, and we'll
on the
be-
patron pages
And I will
too.
be coming on my own channel and my thoughts from time
Yeah,
to
you can
time.
see Jane. Jane's got a channel too. Go to look for it. Look for Jane Hamilton Parker Psychic Medium. You'll find it. It'll be on our new website. All the proper links later on. We're going to have it. You'll be able to connect to everything we do there. Thank you. You're doing great things for the world.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nicola.
Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations on 100k too, says Julia. Thank you very much.
Nice to see the same
Love
faces
hugs and
sometimes.
positive vibes sent out. Greetings from Sweden. Been to Sweden. We like Sweden.
This whole community is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is
it
actually.
is.
It's a
Yeah.
community, not just, of course, on the patrons, of course, which I keep plugging, but also here in the comments, because the more you keep coming back to all the videos, go and have a look at all the other videos, not just to watch the videos, but have a chat with everybody. You know, some of the fake names you've seen come up here, not just on our lives, but all our videos, they're all interacting, and it's become a bit like a forum, really, hasn't
Yeah,
it? And people
lovely
sort of
people.
make their comments, and I try to comment wherever I can, and so do you, don't you, Jane?
Yeah.
We put a comment as well and try to reply to as many of your comments as
Because our
possible.
life is so busy, isn't it? All the
Well,
time?
it's not easy, you know, and when you're doing readings and things like that, that does take it out of you. And it's very time consuming as well. But yeah, but we try to spend time as best we can to keep in touch with you all and interact, and we try to be here for you guys. And thank you again for joining us and making the show for us. So we're going to say goodbye now from lovely Winchester. We're going to say be happy and see you soon, guys. Thank you for joining
Bye.
us. Bye for now.
Bye.
Would you like to know more about the paranormal world? Craig Hamilton Parker's books are now available on Amazon. Explore the future. Discover what happens after death. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Learn to develop your own psychic skills.